Now, this is the season of election launches, and today is the turn of the Trade Union and Socialist coalition. They have more than 500 candidates standing in the local elections. Let's take a look at one of their election videos.
My name is Danny McGowan. I'm standing for TUSC in Tower Hamlets. Why should the ordinary working people of Tower Hamlets have to pay for the mistakes that the bankers that work for him made?
My name is Cheryl McLeod. I'm standing to be a TUSC candidate in the Lewisham Borough, the Telegraph Hill ward.
I'm here at the TUSC Candidates Conference for the simple reason I believe that this is the start of something monumental, and I believe this is the start for the working people of this country to get politically motivated, active, and also have an alternative voice to Labour when Labour decides once and for all to sever its links with the trade unions.
And we're joined now by Dave Nellist. He's the National Chair of the Trade Union and Socialist Coalition. And it's good at last this morning to have a moderate on the programme, having had to deal with these two. I take it from that video that the party's concentration is overwhelmingly on what you think are the cuts and austerity.
That's right, and as I think the interviews reflected, 3/4 of our candidates are active trade unionists and very senior people, like Assistant General Secretary of the prison officers and other leading people as well. But we've also got a lot of anti-bedroom tax campaigners, anti-fracking campaigners, anti-cuts campaigners, local people. And we've got some people, who've already made their little bit of history. We've got Roy Dixon from Liverpool, whose heckle started the process that led to the new Hillsborough inquests. They're all standing as TUSC candidates. So we've got a broad range of people, but you're right, we're attacking austerity and we're attacking the cuts.
And you've got, you're contesting 559 seats in 87 cities, as I understand, and towns as well. What would be a good result for you in this election?
You did ask me that once before.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you the same answer because we're starting from a low base. We've only been going 4 years. It took Labour a lot of years to get started.
Do you have any councillors at the moment?
We do, and I've just come from a press conference where Councillor Keith Morrell from Southampton, who was expelled by the Labour Party a few months ago for voting against the closure of a swimming pool in his ward, was sat by me at the press conference because he's one of our councillors who's standing for re-election. And we've got others that we're working with. But like I've said before, when you're starting from scratch and you ain't got the big money behind you, and let's remember the unions have given Labour £3 billion in the last 30 years, and they've got less influence now than the period you were talking about in the 19th century in the earlier part of this programme. We're starting from scratch, so it's visibility we're after to try and get that alternative message out.
You get some backing, I think, from the RMT.
The RMT is an integral part of the coalition, yes.
Will that continue even now that Bob Crow has passed away?
I mean, Bob's passing was a tremendous shock. I mean, I've been with him only a few weeks beforehand, and he was a driving force within the coalition. But the RMT is a democratic union. It's twice had an annual conference of delegates from all around the country, and its conference has decided to back this coalition, and its representatives are drawn from the whole of the executive, not just from one person.
Now, Owen Jones's father was in militant tendency, I think, with you. Or
I remember his dad very well.
So what can you say to him?
I'm a right-wing sellout, aren't I?
What can you say to him to get him to come and join you?
I've listened to Owen this morning while I've been sat outside, and he's made some brilliant and excellent points. And our difference, really, is that we've already reached the conclusion, like the council I've just been speaking to in Southampton, that you've got two choices in the Labour Party at the moment. When you're on a council, you either vote for the Tory cuts and stay in the Labour Party, or if you vote against them, like is happening in Hull, in Warrington, in Harrow, in Barking, in Southampton, Labour is expelling those councillors, and I want to be on their side.
Okay.
Well, I've got a huge amount of time for Dave. You know, when he was a Labour MP, won Spectator's Backbencher of the Year, he was an excellent constituency MP, a very principled man, a campaigner, and lots of people involved in...
So why aren't you with him?
Because, you talk about my dad, who, as you say, was in militant within. I'll give you another example. My great-uncle, he was on the football team of the Independent Labour Party back in the 1930s. They left the Labour Party during the Great Depression after a treacherous Labour government, and they dwindled into insignificance and irrelevance. And I'm afraid that has been the story of every attempt to set up a new left party. And I guess the question I'd always put to people setting up a left party is why, given every single other attempt has failed, will this be different? Okay. And why not put pressure on the Labour Party in order to shift into more progressive direction?
The early period is hard. The leader of the first Labour Party, Keir Hardie, had stones thrown at him up in Scotland. UKIP, when they stood in the first 10 years of their by-elections, got 1.7%. We've been averaging 5 or 6% in council elections. This time round, it's nearly 600 candidates. I'm confident that given the choice, that whether it's Labour, Tory, Liberal, Democrats or UKIP councillors making cuts, there is an alternative, then that can grow. I don't disagree that it's a hard job, but literally there's nowhere else to go.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks for coming on the programme.